Today's video has been brought to you by GameBet.gg. Hi everyone, and welcome to Anime Debate. This week we're going to compare two shows that you are going to love, or already love, I don't know, but Yu Yu Hakusho versus Hunter by Hunter. Let's get started. It's worth noting before this video starts, though, to let you know that these anime are being compared because they were both penned and created by Yoshiro Tagashi, the writer who takes a lot of breaks and makes you wait forever to get any kind of resolution, but usually it's worth it. So let's start with the plot when we're comparing these two shows. So, plot number one, Yu Yu Hakusho. It's about a high school punk who dies and becomes a spirit detective, and in order to come back to life, you know what he has to do? He's got to solve crimes and help people, and along the way he gains abilities, gets stronger, it becomes a tournament anime, and that's pretty much the gist of it. Fights, save the world, help people come back to life. That's kind of the entire thing, and I won't spoil the rest for you because it gets pretty deep. Now, Hunter by Hunter is about a boy who gets abandoned by his father, and he wants to find out why his father abandoned him, so he follows in his father's footsteps to become a hunter like his dad. A hunter is like a, I don't know, like kind of like a mercenary for hire. They go and do missions, they do whatever they need to do to get money. But his dad, you know, again, is the person he looks up to, but he's never really met him. He wants to know why his dad loves his job so much that he couldn't raise him. So he goes on this adventure, and then things go all over the place. And again, I will not spoil it, but when I compare the two, I'm going to say the Hunter by Hunter wins for sure because it's much more interesting, and the place that it goes is much more complex. Like most shonen anime, both of these shows do devolve by the end into a fighting show, but Hunter by Hunter does it a lot better in terms of the plot. So let's dig into the next category, which is characters. Now I'm going to focus on very few of the entire characters because both of these shows, I would say, is an ensemble cast of sorts. Like, you wouldn't love the show as much if certain characters weren't there, and some characters are very atypical. Like, you have Hiei in Yu Yu Hakusho, who's just like Vegeta, like the angry character who has a heart, and you know, things like that. Blah blah blah. The villain that then becomes a good guy, etc. etc. The thing we see all the time. Now, I think that over on the side of Hunter by Hunter, we get different characters that are a little bit more bland, but then when you get to know them, they start really getting intricate, and you get one of the deepest, the absolute deepest arcs I've ever seen in an anime before carried through the character of Killua. And again, I will not spoil a thing for you, but you guys gotta know that the way they handle these characters in both shows is beautiful, it's engaging, it's awesome, but only one of the shows can win the anime debate. So, do I like Yusuke better? Do I like Gon better? In my opinion, Gon is a Goku clone, meaning, he's just a really good fighter. He always gets lucky. He's gonna win most of the time. Even though he loses a lot, he still always has that shine in his eyes, and he's kind of a dimwit. He's not like, he's not an intelligent character, let's put it like that. Yusuke is not intelligent either, but he's got a lot more attitude, a lot more sass, and he's not your typical, atypical goody character that you always see in anime leading the way. He's a punk who becomes reformed, but then gets better along the way, and still retains his charm the entire show. Kuwabara is one of my favorite characters in this entire show. In this entire show of Yu Yu Hakusho. Like, Kuwabara just brings something to the table they haven't seen happen in a lot of animes. He's got his code of honor, but he also has a real heart. You really see him bring it to the table again and again and again, and it just makes you feel for him because it's unfortunate the things that happen to him a lot of time in this show. As far as Hunter by Hunter goes, I never really felt as strongly about the characters, but the way they were written pulled you in even better. But if I'm gonna pick between the two, and this is just me, this is my personal thing, I'm gonna go with Yu Yu Hakusho. But that's not to take away from the character development and the greatness that are the characters in Hunter by Hunter. It's just that I personally enjoyed watching the exploits of the characters in Yu Yu Hakusho a lot more. Now, let's get into the story. Now, this is the thing. How did they execute these plots? Now, with Yu Yu Hakusho, it was just very, like, normal. Character has a plan, goes through the plan, they get into the fights happen, then they get into an arc where there's all puzzles, the puzzles happen, the puzzles are great, and then it becomes a fighting tournament, and then something else happens, and then it just wraps up really hastily. And I think that's because, they weren't done with the manga yet, and they just like, okay, you could have like kept going. I felt really cheated with that ending. As far as Hunter x Hunter goes, it didn't really get a chance to end, so it's hard to judge on that same scale. But I will say that the plots of this show go all over the place, and I feel like Togashi leaves a lot of threads dangling. There's a lot there where I'm like, okay, I want it more, or can you give me an answer to that? No, you just keep going. But they execute them so well that you kind of don't care. You kind of don't care that not every single thing you want to answer gets answered. And because of that, and because of the fact that it is extremely original, and the fact that it literally goes all over the place, Hunter x Hunter wins the story debate. Next up, let's move into art. And this is hard to compare because both of these shows are done beautifully for their times. Hunter x Hunter is a remake where they wanted to update the art and update the story and update the music, all this stuff like that. And they do an excellent job. Yu Yu Hakusho was good for its time. You know, it was an early like 90s/80s show. And it still stands up over time though. It still looks really good. But this new style that they brought into play with Hunter x Hunter just simply put outshines the old stuff every single time. So Hunter x Hunter, you win the art department. Plus the animation is fluid, the color palette they use is a lot brighter and darker when it needs to be, and they do a really good job of doing variation among the tones depending on the arc they're in. Whereas over on Yu Yu Hakusho, everything just kind of feels the same no matter where we are in the series. So there you go. Music, it's a tie. I'm just gonna say the music doesn't stand out to me for either show. It's good, it's great, I bop along. One of my favorite ending themes ever is featured in Hunter x Hunter, and I'll say that much, but it doesn't do enough to really pull me like I need to listen to this music all the time. Like Naruto has some great music which I will download and I'll play on, like, you know, my car when I'm driving around, but I don't feel that way about the music in either of these shows. It's just good. It's not anything special. Let's move next into my favorite part of the show, where I dance a little bit for you. The final decision. So we've got two shows created by the same man who goes on ridiculously long breaks and leaves us like, we want more, give us more. He does a good job of creating characters that we care about. He does a good job of creating elements that we care about too as well. Meaning, like, you take a character that's very atypical as Yusuke is like the punk guy, like, hey, I'm a punk, yeah man, get out of my way. I'm a pervert sometimes, yeah. Then you take your Gon character who's like, yeah, let's do the right thing, I want to find my dad, yeah. You know, like, Gon can be switched out for pretty much anyone in like anime. Like, switch him out with Ash Ketchum, feels the same. Switch him out with Goku, feels the same. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't really do a lot. But when you get them around circumstances, things just get crazy, and you gotta love that. So both of these shows, while executed extremely well for their times, only one of them does a good job of being original, being creative, playing along with more than just the things given to them. They take long strikes and making true marks on the anime genre. And that show is Hunter x Hunter. Even though the show didn't get a proper ending, even though the show leaves a lot of dangling threads, even though the show is nowhere near perfect, it still does a good job of making you go, oh my god, I gotta see that again. Like, they do something I really like in this show, where they don't have battles that last like 5 episodes where you're waiting for the next one and keep putting on cliffhangers. They don't have like really one battle like that, and they continually end the battle in the actual episode you're watching. I'm like, yes, this is how it should go every time. I want a good fight, but I don't need to wait around for it forever. Like, it doesn't need to be that way. And again, that's a trope it did away with that Yu Yu Hakusho continues to carry. Also, the way they ended the show just felt rushed. I'm sorry, Yu Yu Hakusho is a great show, but that ending was boo-boo. Like, for everything you go through, all the stuff you get to, that ending is boo-boo. I'd much rather have the show end on a cliffhanger, much like it did. Well, not really a cliffhanger, but just like end without having it feel like completed, like it did with Hunter x Hunter, then get an ending that just doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? And so, because of that and more, Hunter x Hunter wins the anime debate. But don't let me decide your fate. Don't let your thumbs up or thumbs down decide anything. In fact, give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Just really, let me know down below by leaving a comment about why you love one show over the other, and let me know what you want to see me debate next on the next anime debate. Thanks a lot, guys. I do videos about 5 times a week, but come back here every single Wednesday for anime content or some top 10s on Fridays, and just stick around for other stuff, because I do a lot of stuff, guys. I do stuff all the time. And don't forget, if you've never seen this show before, I've got a playlist so you can watch all the anime debates you want anytime you want. All right, guys, thanks a lot, and ever use teleport.